TMZ, the source of gossip mostly, but apparently they're a news source. Yeah, Corona 2020. Pastor Tony Spell. Churches need cash. Give them your stimulus. You mean you're barely getting enough to keep on going if you're getting any of that money at all, and your church demands that you give that to your church because many of them aren't profitable enough already? Come on, get real. The video is right here.
Hashtag Pastor Spell Stimulus Challenge. Free rules. Number 1, April the 19th, 2020. It begins. Rule number 2, donate your stimulus money. Rule number 3, donate it to evangelists, North American evangelists who haven't had an offering in a month, missionaries who haven't had an offering in a month, music ministers who haven't had an offering in a month.
Because you believe in that stuff, and apparently you haven't been balancing the books. I mean, this is the thing. I've been in churches. I've been a member of a church. Gone to their meetings. I've actually known what the details are of the treasury organisation in terms of the administration, the trustees of a church. Why can't you balance the books, considering you haven't had money for a month, right? So you might be hit pretty hard, right? Yeah. Then things will be back to normal in, say, a couple of months, probably for most of them. Seems wasteful, considering people are finding it hard to put food on the table.
I'm donating my entire stimulus, $1,200. My wife is donating her stimulus, $1,200. My son is donating his stimulus, $600.
And how much do you make from what you do already? This is Pastor Tony Spell. Where are you donating your stimulus? Well, I'm the pastor. Right. So you're donating to yourself. Interesting.
Hashtag Pastor Spell Stimulus Challenge. If you don't have a church, give through my website,
Scam.
www.ltcbr.com, Larry Tango Charlie Baton Rouge.com. I'm here on the Mississippi River. I'm here at Red Stick.
You're a fucking scammer, man. I mean, it's like, come to church, and you've got these people going to church when there's, a shutdown going on, and people are meant to be self-isolating, social distancing, as we call it, and they're not, or at least not enough of them are. Some places just not at all, and you got people like this who are like, well, give us your money. Why should people give you their money? This is the thing I never understood about tithing. Giving your tithes. Why would you bother giving, was it 10% or whatever? And why would they give their stimulus? Surely they should just give 10%. Or whatever the actual percentage figure is, according to some antiquated ruling, some antiquated law, some ridiculous idea of how much you meant to give. And if your church is if this guy's giving his money to himself, and his son's money and his wife's money, and they're giving it to the church which he runs and gets paid from, and then you're going to give money, so how much money does the church need to keep the pilot light on, in other words? If it's not open, to keep the power connected, you don't need the lights on, you don't need most of the electrical on, you have the basic electric on, you go and check it every so often, because that is your job, amongst other things. If that's the case, then where's the problem? You end up with a slow month, really slow, in fact, dire. But if there's no people using your facilities, no great loss. After this crisis, it's suddenly a boom. Because people want to get their kids christened, people want to have that marriage, or they had to delay their marriage because of this bullshit. It's either that they had no bloody guests, doing a basic gig. But now, of course, with some of the rules, they probably can't anyway. If they wanted to do it now, that is. So, why would people bother paying to this type of person? If that many churches are on the edge of financial ruin, I think they need a bit more than divine intervention. They need an accountant or someone who can actually do the math, to use an American idiom. But they need someone to actually do things properly, organise properly. So if you're an organisation which is organised in a efficient manner, this shutdown period shouldn't be a problem. I don't think we're going to see any of the big old, Catholic churches and cathedrals shutting down. I don't think we're going to see any Anglican or Methodist churches shutting down. But these pastors who are getting huge amounts of money, they've got good numbers in terms of their congregations. So we're meant to think that they're suffering, give more. It just sounds like a fucking scam, to be honest. Sorry, I knocked the microphone there. It just sounds like a scam. And I'm saying scam a lot, but that's just the way it seems. And it seems like TMZ is saying that this seems to be accurate. This was on Easter Sunday. Same guy's church. Packed full of people who are like, fuck Corona. And they're probably passing it to every single member of their congregation, and other people won't be able to give their stimulus because they'll be dead. But yeah, you've got a guy who's begging for money. He's one of the guys who's been ignoring government rules. And in some states, I think in the US, I think Florida at least, they've said, churches are essential. We're not going to stop that or police it. So, yeah, you basically have a situation where a church that is fully functional and moving, where people can barely put food on the table, they're digging into their life savings, and they're suffering, and their families are suffering, and if there's ever any major need to go and see a doctor or whatever, and they have to whack out big money, which is very likely, especially if they get infected. But other things, life is busy anyway. Life is continuous. Doesn't take much for someone to get injured, have to go and pay for a doctor, pay for whatever. And, they're going to need that money. It probably won't cover it. They'll probably, wiping out their life savings or whatever, but whatever. They need that money an awful lot more than some greasy, slimy fucking pastor he says, I'm giving my stimulus to this, and so's my wife, so's my kid. What thing I don't tell you, you dumb fucks, is that it's my fucking money I'm putting into my fucking organisation, which pays my fucking bills. Meanwhile, if I have to close the church and I keep it closed, it's in mothballs, I'm spending nothing. I know you dumb fucks, those of you that don't die, you're going to come back. Brainwashed as you are. I shouldn't rant. I shouldn't swear too often either. Gets kind of it weakens the word if you swear too often. If you say fuck all the time, suddenly fuck means nothing, right? So, but guys like this, they just get under my skin. They get under my skin because week on week out, week after week, day after day, these people are just begging for money. It's like, oh, you can't get to our church. You live 1,000 miles away. Give a donation. Watch our videos on YouTube. Oh yes, pay a little bit more, and we'll say something about you in our prayers or something. It's all about making money. I bet this guy's website is entertaining too. Let's check out his website. Yeah, Pastor Tony Spell. Oh, by the way, Pink News gives a bit more context to what he does. He did this before. He's been doing these big get-togethers, Sunday get-togethers. He got arrested last time. Did the same damn thing. And, he just keeps on doing the same thing over and over. And this is from 10 days ago. I'm recording this on the 16th of April. And, on the 6th, this article was written about the 5th. So let me look at my dates. So the 5th was the Sunday. He did it again yesterday on the... last Sunday, the Sunday just gone on the 12th. Yeah, this guy is... This is the reason why churches now are becoming key centres for contamination or infection. Spreading the virus to more people. Because you have a congregation of 1,800 people. I don't think I've been in a church in England which can hold 1,800 people. I don't think I've been in one which can hold... I haven't been in one which can hold half that number, apart from one which is an old traditional church. Proper like... you know, old Anglican church or old Catholic church. I've been in a variety of different churches, you know, over the years. Some I believed in, some I did not, but that's another story. But yeah, this guy who apparently is anti-LGBT, who knew? You know, not a surprise. Yeah. He's up to this kind of gig all the time. I'll keep on looking. I can't actually find his website at the moment. It's buried under articles about him being controversial. And he's going to use that to his advantage. More donations, please. He's a good pastor. Yeah, bullshit. Well, I can't find his website, but I find a lot of articles around him, about him, talking about how controversial he is, how he's breaking the rules, how he's been a bigot in the past, how he's been making some remarkable claims, saying come to church, ignoring the curfew kind of rules, which is basically what it is, no large gatherings. And yeah, he's ignoring it completely in Louisiana. And yeah, I just think to myself, ridiculous. I mean, I can't actually find his website. That's the annoying thing. It's good in a way. It might have even been taken down. You never know. But the fact that it's being spread out there all over the place says a lot. Okay. Let's have a look at his Twitter following. So yeah, it's claims there's that TMZ thing. There's that article there. So this thing is very, very common. It's mad, isn't it? That people would actually buy into it. And obviously a lot of people are very concerned about it. But every time they share this story and this guy gets some attention, well, what does that tell you? What's going to happen? Oh, he's going to become even more renowned, even more known. The believers like, our pastor's famous. People from neighbouring churches are going to think, that guy down the road, that guy, he might be onto something. People on the internet are going to go, oh, that guy's interesting. You might get people giving donations because apparently this guy is a real man of God and therefore he's being shot down by the liberal media, is what people are going to say. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I like that. Sally Smith on the 9th of April. Yeah. So basically, Pastor Tony Spell now to be added to Jim Jones, Charlie Manson, and David Koresh. All fucking lunatics. Absolutely, you know. But yeah, there's a lot of opposition to it. So, I'm sure there's a lot of support as well, but there's a real mixed bag of things here. People calling him a piece of work. Probably a good thing. What's this? D's nuts. The balls on that man. The balls on that man. I should go on Twitter more often. Just to get a reaction. It's a good way of getting a reaction of what's going on. And what's this? Oh yeah. Comedic person. Miss Betty Bauer. Was it the best Christian in America or something? It's a parody, but it's a good one. So she's probably responded to that particular issue with that particular arsehole. You know, the pastor, Tony Spell. So yeah, there you are. I mean, all in all, it's pretty goddamn insane the amount of attention this man's getting. And he's using it, as many of these people do, as many cults I've spoken about in the past do. They get attention, they get negative attention, they might even break the law. And if they're able to get away with it, they use it for attention. They say, no, this is just the haters. No, this is just the haters. But you get it with non-profit groups and all sorts of things where people are clearly breaking the law. You report it. I've reported people to South African authorities, not because I'm in South Africa, but because I know people in South Africa who are breaking the law. As with one cult over there, many of us emailed in saying, have you heard about this organisation? And it was basically to do with a so-called non-profit run by a cult organisation. People should be reporting this stuff more. This guy, though, the balls on him, or, you know, D's nuts. Yeah. Insane. So, yeah. Got lots of different things. Is he actually in Louisiana? Because it says LA pastor there. So they just got the wrong story. It says Tony Spell. It's Tony Spell. Oh, okay. Someone's misquoted it there. It's Louisiana, and they put LA. So I think they I think they know, but it's just the way it was phrased. It confused me for a moment. So let's see this. This is the thing, I'm just looking at this, and this is where you've got virtual churches. People going online so they can just like come together, and it's like, oh, there's this church, that church, and the other, and there's all different people, modern and new, and it's like, well, okay, do that. Some of your old people won't actually have internet, okay? That's a problem, sure. But it's better to have this than to have them dying in the end. And I think that's the key thing. When that particular pastor, the one I've just been speaking about, this Tony Spell, basically sees the old people of his congregation dying, considering he's already been caught out, it's been caught in the news as well, that his congregation has become this hotspot for people getting infected. You know, his community. So it's like, okay, what's causing it in our community? Well, 1,800 people from our region, from our area, where he is, basically go to the same church, and there's several of them have got infected. Passes it on to everyone else. Most people get mild corona, which basically means you get kind of a nasty cold and sore throat and everything. But yeah, you're going to get a few people there, weak people, people with breathing conditions, people with health conditions of different kinds, who are going to be affected by this heavily, and that is likely to be, more likely than not, some of the older members of the congregation who are going to pop their clogs. But the good news for the pastor is that many of them have probably put him in their will. I say him, put the church in their will. Yes, I want to give the money because that'll help people and it's for God and blah, blah, blah. It's a problem with religious fundamentalism. People lose touch with reality. At least of those religious people who've taken the governmental advice on board, they're going to do church like this, or they're going to do church or mosque or maybe synagogue or, Hindu temple or whatever the case may be. They're going to do it virtually. At least that way, they're less likely to really suffer. And they're more likely to prevent other people from suffering, and they're less likely to pass things on. It's liable to mean the death toll for corona is going to be far less. And, yeah, it's common sense. I know it might not be common sense to believe in an angry and jealous sky being that lives in the sky, or lives beyond our universe, or whatever the consensus is within Christianity. I mock, I jest. But in any case, at least you're taking on some sound medical and scientific advice. I mean, medicine is science, but you're taking on some sound scientific advice and isolating yourself. You're following the shutdown rules, and if you're doing that, then I have no problem. You're not preaching to me. You're not forcing your beliefs on me. If you want to believe certain things, you can. Do it in the right way. Be sensible about this. Come on.